The sky turned red that morning, a color no one had ever seen before. Birds didn't sing. The wind felt heavy, like the air itself was warning people. On the outskirts of the city, a small group of scientists watched strange shapes moving above the clouds. Their eyes widened as the objects came closer. They were not airplanes, not drones. Something alive, something intelligent, hovered silently above them. On the streets, people went about their daily lives, unaware. Children laughed while running past the shops, and the smell of fresh bread filled the air. Then, a low hum began to grow, so faint at first that it seemed like the city's heartbeat. But soon it became loud, vibrating through buildings and under the ground. Cars stopped in the middle of the road. Dogs barked and ran away. People lifted their heads, searching the sky, seeing what nobody could describe. From the clouds, massive shapes emerged. They were like nothing humans had drawn or imagined. Their skin shimmered like silver glass, but it was not smooth. It moved, flowing like liquid metal. Each creature had eyes that glowed with a cold blue light. The scientists whispered to each other, trying to understand if this was a natural phenomenon, a new species, or a warning. A loud boom echoed across the city as the largest alien descended into the main square. Windows shattered from the pressure, and streetlights flickered. People screamed and ran in all directions, but the alien did not chase. It simply stood there, watching. Its height was unimaginable, taller than any building in the city. And then it spoke, but not with words. A sound filled the minds of everyone nearby, a thought that no human could escape. It was deep, commanding, and frightening. You are here. You are small. The news spread like wildfire. Cameras, phones, satellites, all caught the event. People on the other side of the planet froze in disbelief. Governments scrambled jets, missiles, and satellites, trying to understand what these beings wanted. But the aliens did not attack. They only walked through the city, examining, touching, observing. Every human they saw, they studied as if measuring, understanding. Among the chaos, a man named Amir stayed calm. He was a history teacher who had always believed humans were brave, even in impossible situations. He watched from his balcony as the largest alien approached a group of children playing near a fountain. His heart raced, but he noticed something strange. The alien tilted its head, and its glowing eyes softened. For the first time, the alien looked curious, almost scared. Then a child dropped her toy, a small wooden horse, and it rolled toward the alien. The massive creature paused. Its hand hovered above the ground. Amir saw the tiniest twitch in its metal-like skin. Slowly, carefully, the alien lifted the toy and handed it back to the child. She giggled, thinking it was a game. But Amir felt it. The alien had never seen something so delicate, so human. From that moment, the balance changed. The aliens realized humans were not just small, weak creatures. Humans were unpredictable, capable of courage, fear, and emotions the aliens did not understand. Every step the aliens took was cautious. Every movement measured. Governments tried to communicate, but no words could reach them. The scientists decided to try a different approach. They used music, light patterns, and even smells, anything to show humans' uniqueness. And it worked. The aliens stopped harming people. They observed silently, but the energy of fear had changed. It was no longer one-sided. Humans were watching, learning, understanding the alien presence, and they would fight if needed. By sunset, the city was empty but alive with a new energy. Cars remained where they had stopped. Buildings were cracked but standing. People hid in their homes, whispering to each other about courage and fear. They didn't know what the aliens wanted or why they came, but they understood one thing: they were not powerless. Amir walked through the quiet streets, noticing details he had never seen before. A shattered window reflected the red sky. A fallen streetlight looked like a sculpture. Children's toys were scattered, tiny evidence of life. And in the distance, the largest alien stood on the hill, watching the humans who dared to live despite fear. That night, as the city tried to sleep, the sky glowed with silver and blue light. The aliens did not leave. They did not attack. They only observed. And in the hearts of humans, a quiet realization grew. This was the day fear was discovered, by those who had never felt it before. The next morning, the city felt different. Streets were quiet, almost too quiet. People moved slowly, whispering to each other about the events of the day before. Windows were boarded up. Shops remained closed. The once busy city now felt like a giant held its breath. Amir stepped outside, curiosity stronger than fear. From a distance, he could see the aliens. They had gathered in the central park, moving like a group of liquid statues. Their glowing eyes scanned everything: trees, fountains, even birds that had returned cautiously. Amir noticed the biggest alien again. It seemed restless, pacing slowly. Its movements were precise but tense, like it had learned that humans were dangerous in ways it did not yet understand. Nearby, a group of scientists worked tirelessly. Dr. Lena, the lead researcher, adjusted her equipment over and over. She tried to create signals, sounds, lights, even patterns of movement, hoping the aliens would understand. Amir watched her, impressed by her courage. Unlike most people, she didn't run or hide. She faced the unknown directly. Suddenly, a loud crack echoed across the park. Amir's heart jumped. The aliens froze. Trees trembled. It was as if the sound had awakened something inside them. Then he saw it. A drone from the government had flown too close. The aliens reacted instantly. They moved faster than any human could track. In a single motion, they lifted the drone high into the air, then crushed it without touching the ground. Pieces scattered like sparks. People screamed and ran, but Amir stayed. He understood something others didn't. The aliens were learning. Every human reaction, every movement, was teaching them. The fear in people's eyes, the chaos of the crowd, it was all part of a lesson the aliens were receiving. And humans were noticing too. Dr. Lena shouted from her control station. "They're observing patterns. They're analyzing us." She pointed to her screen where a heat map of the city glowed. The aliens' movements created shapes and trails that seemed almost deliberate. Amir realized then that humans had a rare chance. The aliens didn't just see them as weak, they were curious, studying human strength, intelligence, and behavior. Amir's phone buzzed. Messages from neighbors poured in. "Stay inside. Don't provoke them." But Amir ignored them. He felt something powerful rising within him. He moved closer, stepping over broken branches and debris. One of the smaller aliens turned toward him. Its eyes glowed brighter than before, but it didn't attack. Instead, it tilted its head, watching. Amir stopped and raised his hands, showing he meant no harm. The alien mimicked his gesture. A child's laughter broke through the tension. Amir saw a little boy chasing a paper airplane toward the aliens. For a moment, the air froze. Then, slowly, the alien reached out and caught the plane. Instead of harming the boy, it tossed the plane back gently. Children clapped and laughed. Adults gasped, realizing these creatures were not invincible gods. They were learning fear, uncertainty, and even respect. The largest alien, standing on the park hill, raised one hand toward the city. Its glowing eyes scanned the horizon. Then, without warning, it moved toward a building. Amir and the scientists followed from a distance. The alien did not destroy. It walked into the abandoned offices, touching walls and furniture as if trying to understand human life. Every movement was careful, deliberate, almost reverent. By afternoon, the city was transformed. Broken streets and buildings remained, but there was a new order. The alien's presence forced humans to move cautiously, work together, and think faster. Amir noticed neighbors helping each other more than ever before. People who had once ignored each other now shared food, comfort, and knowledge. Humans were adapting. Humans were learning to survive in a way the aliens had never expected. Dr. Lena approached Amir. "They are scared of us in ways they cannot explain," she whispered. "It's subtle, but it's true. We are unpredictable. our emotions, our courage. They confuse them. They don't understand fear as we feel it. Amir nodded, a smile breaking through his tense face. Humans were small, fragile, but in that moment he realized humans had something no alien could copy: heart. Night came quickly. The sky glowed silver with streaks of blue. The aliens gathered in patterns across the city, almost like constellations on the ground. From above, it looked like a map of human resilience. Amir stood on a rooftop, watching. Every person hiding, every child laughing, every neighbor helping each other, it all mattered. Humans had made an impression, a mark the aliens could not erase. Suddenly, a sound, a low, vibrating hum, filled the air again. This time, it was different. It was not loud, but it carried weight. Amir felt it deep inside his chest. The aliens were communicating, maybe among themselves, maybe with humans. But whatever it was, it felt like a warning. Something bigger was coming. The city was only the beginning. Amir clenched his fists, feeling fear and excitement at the same time. Humans had survived today. They had faced the unknown and made it clear that they would not be controlled. But tomorrow could be even harder. He looked around at the city, broken yet alive, and whispered to himself, "We will not bow. We will not fall. They will know us." And somewhere in the glowing blue light of the largest alien's eyes, Amir thought he saw understanding, and maybe, just maybe, a trace of fear. The next morning, the city was quiet again, but different. Fear was still there, lingering, but so was courage. People moved carefully, but they no longer ran at the first sight of the aliens. Amir walked through the streets, noticing small changes. Windows were repaired with boards and metal sheets, and neighbors helped each other clear rubble. Even in fear, humans were finding ways to survive and resist. Above, the aliens hovered silently. They no longer walked openly in the streets but observed from a distance. Their glowing eyes scanned the city constantly. The largest alien, towering and majestic, stood at the edge of the city near a ruined tower. Amir watched from a rooftop. The alien's posture was tense, deliberate. It was calculating, learning, trying to understand humans' new behaviors. Dr. Lena gathered a small team. "We need to show them strength," she said quietly. "Not weapons. Humans don't fight like them. We need to show intelligence, strategy, unpredictability." She led the team to a central square, where broken cars, rubble, and abandoned tools could be arranged. The plan was simple. Humans would create a display of organization, movement, and clever traps, without hurting the aliens but proving their capabilities. Amir joined them, moving quietly. He noticed a group of children hiding nearby, watching curiously. He smiled and gestured for them to stay back. "This is our city," he whispered. "We'll show them that humans are not afraid, even when we are." The aliens began to notice. Small scouts moved closer, hovering just above the ground. They tilted their heads, glowing eyes scanning every human step. One scout touched a pile of debris with its metallic fingers, causing it to scatter in a wave. But humans reacted instantly. They adjusted, moved, and adapted faster than the aliens expected. Each action was precise, unpredictable, and clever. From a distance, Amir saw it. The largest alien raised its hand, and the scouts froze. Its glowing eyes seemed to focus on something important. The humans were not just reacting, they were creating patterns, forming strategies. The aliens had never seen anything like it. They were not used to a species that could think, plan, and act under fear. Suddenly, a loud crash came from a nearby street. A fallen building had shifted. The aliens' reactions were immediate. They paused, calculating. But Amir and the team had anticipated this. Using mirrors and reflective panels, they redirected the aliens' attention toward harmless objects, confusing their sensors. The aliens moved, but every step was careful, uncertain. Fear, Amir realized, could be taught in more ways than violence. Dr. Lena pointed toward a group of humans working together to lift a broken vehicle blocking the main road. The aliens watched closely. Every human effort was measured, intelligent, and cooperative. They were not just surviving, they were organizing, learning, and demonstrating capability. Amir felt a surge of pride. Humans were small, yes, but their mind and heart made them strong in ways the aliens could not easily measure. Hours passed. The sun dropped low, casting long shadows across the city. The aliens retreated slightly, moving to higher ground. The largest alien stood on the hill near the edge of the city, glowing eyes fixed on the humans below. Amir noticed something new. The alien seemed hesitant. Its movements were careful, almost fearful. Humans had introduced unpredictability. Humans had shown resilience. And for the first time, the alien did not know what would happen next. Night fell. The city glowed faintly under the alien lights, silver and blue streaks reflecting on broken glass. Amir and the team moved quietly through the streets. They were tired, bruised, and anxious, but alive. And in that survival, there was a powerful truth. Humans could adapt. Humans could learn. Humans could fight, not with strength alone, but with courage, intelligence, and unity. From a rooftop, Amir looked at the largest alien again. Its glowing eyes met his, and in that moment, he felt it, recognition. The alien knew humans were not easy prey. Humans were unpredictable, capable of creating fear in ways the aliens had never imagined. And somewhere deep inside, Amir sensed a challenge forming. The aliens were learning, but humans were not backing down. In the shadows, a child peeked from behind a broken wall, holding a small, handmade device. Nothing dangerous, just a symbol of human creativity. The aliens noticed it, curious and cautious. Amir smiled. Even the smallest human action could create ripples of doubt in beings thousands of times larger and stronger. Humans were tiny, but dangerous in ways that could not be measured. That night, as the city slept uneasily, Amir whispered to himself, "We will not be broken. We will not be ruled. Fear is ours to control." And somewhere in the glowing eyes of the largest alien, he thought he saw something new, respect. Or perhaps curiosity. Either way, it was enough to remind him that the battle had only just begun. Tomorrow, the aliens would come closer. Tomorrow, humans would need to show even more courage, more intelligence, and more heart. But Amir knew one thing clearly. Humans were no longer the small, frightened species they had been yesterday. Today, they had become a force the aliens could not easily understand, or underestimate. The city woke to a tense silence. The morning air was heavy, filled with anticipation. Birds stayed hidden in the trees. Even the wind seemed cautious. The humans knew the aliens were still there, watching, calculating, waiting. But now, it felt different. Today, something was about to happen. Amir moved through the streets, alert and careful. Broken buildings cast long shadows over the roads. Every sound, footsteps, creaking metal, distant voices, felt amplified. He noticed neighbors peeking from behind boarded windows, children holding their parents' hands tightly. The city was alive with fear, but also determination. Humans had learned to survive, but now they would need to act. From the park, the aliens descended closer than ever before. Their shadows stretched across the buildings, large enough to swallow streets in darkness. The scouts hovered low, their glowing eyes scanning, analyzing every movement. And the largest alien moved slowly toward the center of the city, its towering form casting a silver-blue glow over the broken streets. Dr. Lena had prepared. She led a small team of volunteers through a narrow alley, placing mirrors and reflective panels in precise locations. Their plan was simple: create confusion without aggression. Distract the aliens, show human ingenuity, and buy time. Amir followed, carrying small devices the team had built, light projectors, noisemakers, anything to disrupt alien perception. The first contact came unexpectedly. A scout hovered just above a human child, its glowing eyes curious and cold. The boy froze. Amir shouted, waving his arms. The alien hesitated. Its metal-like fingers reached forward slowly, but the mirrors reflected the sunlight directly into its eyes. It recoiled instinctively, letting out a high-pitched hum. The child ran to safety. Humans gasped and cheered quietly. They had won the first small victory. But the celebration was brief. The largest alien moved closer, raising one hand. The air vibrated with a low, resonant hum that rattled windows and shook dust from broken walls. Humans felt it deep in their chests. Fear surged, but so did adrenaline. Amir realized they could not run. They had to stand their ground. The alien reached a group of scientists attempting to operate equipment. Its massive hand hovered above a console, scanning the devices. Then, slowly, it touched one. Sparks flew, but nothing exploded. The alien's eyes flickered blue and white, a sign of confusion Amir recognized from the scouts. Humans had created unpredictability. Humans had shown intelligence. And now, the alien didn't know what to do next. Amir moved forward. He kept his hands visible, showing no weapons, only courage. The largest alien paused, tilting its head. Its glowing eyes studied him closely. Time seemed to stretch. Everyone around Amir held their breath. Then, something extraordinary happened. The alien lowered its hand slightly, as if acknowledging the human's bravery. Amir felt a thrill of hope. Humans were not just surviving, they were teaching the aliens caution. The city held its collective breath as the aliens began to retreat, but not entirely. They moved to higher ground, hovering above rooftops and hills, watching every human action. The scouts kept close, scanning for mistakes. It was a tense standoff, humans on the streets, aliens above, both learning from each other, testing boundaries. Fear had shifted. It was no longer one-sided. Humans had learned to use intelligence, creativity, and courage to balance the scales. Suddenly, a loud explosion shook the eastern part of the city. A building collapsed, sending debris into the streets. Panic surged. The aliens reacted instantly, lifting fragments with precision and halting them mid-air, protecting humans without being asked. Amir watched in disbelief. The aliens were learning more than fear. They were learning empathy, or at least something close to it. Night fell again, but this time the city did not sleep quietly. Humans patrolled streets, organized teams to repair damage, and maintained watch over the aliens. Children peered from windows, curious and unafraid. The aliens observed silently from above, their glowing eyes scanning patterns of human behavior. Every action, every reaction, was a lesson in unpredictability, courage, and strategy. Amir walked to the highest rooftop he could reach. Below, humans worked together to clear rubble, fix pathways, and organize shelters. Above, the largest alien remained, towering and silent. Its eyes glowed softly, as if contemplating the humans' resilience. Amir realized something remarkable. Humans had discovered a new form of strength. Not weapons, not numbers, but something far more dangerous to an alien intelligence: courage, creativity, and heart. From the rooftop, Amir looked toward the horizon. The aliens had not attacked in full force. They were still learning, observing, cautious. Humans had won the first direct confrontation without violence, simply by being clever, brave, and unpredictable. But Amir knew the challenge was far from over. The aliens were powerful, intelligent, and patient. Tomorrow would bring new tests, new confrontations, and perhaps new dangers. He clenched his fists, feeling a surge of determination. "We will survive," he whispered to himself. "We will show them what it means to be human. They may be stronger, but we are unstoppable when we stand together." And somewhere in the distance, the glowing eyes of the largest alien met his. For the first time, Amir felt it: respect, or maybe fear. Either way, humans had made their mark. The morning air was sharp, filled with a sense of urgency. The city had changed. Streets that once seemed broken now buzzed with quiet activity. People moved with purpose, repairing buildings, clearing debris, and creating barricades. Fear was still there, but it no longer ruled their actions. Humans had learned to survive, and to fight in their own way. Amir stepped into the streets, feeling the weight of responsibility. He watched neighbors organizing teams, communicating with hand signals, and sharing resources. Even children contributed, carrying small tools, delivering messages, or helping the injured. Every person played a role. Every action mattered. Humans were no longer scattered, they were united, coordinated, and dangerous in their unpredictability. Above, the aliens hovered again, closer than before. Scouts moved swiftly between buildings, analyzing human patterns. The largest alien stayed on the hill at the city's edge, its glowing eyes scanning everything. But this time, its movements were more cautious, hesitant. It had learned from the previous encounters, humans were not weak, humans were clever, and humans were unpredictable. Dr. Lena approached Amir. "Today, we show them we are more than just survival," she said. "We show them we are human. We show them courage, strategy, and unity." She led the team toward a central square where humans had organized defenses, not weapons of war, but tools to create unpredictability. Mirrors, sound devices, and reflective panels were placed strategically to confuse and distract the aliens. The first encounter came faster than expected. A scout hovered above a group of workers. Its metallic fingers reached toward a crane, analyzing its function. Amir signaled to a nearby team, and instantly, the mirrors reflected sunlight directly into the scout sensors. The alien reeled back, startled. It had not anticipated humans using light and movement in this way. Humans were clever. Humans could make fear a weapon. The largest alien descended into the city for the first time since the initial arrival. Its immense presence caused buildings to shake, dust to fall, and streets to tremble. But humans did not run. They held their ground. Teams moved in coordinated patterns, redirecting the alien's attention using clever tricks, careful movement, and simple yet effective ingenuity. Every step the alien took was cautious, uncertain. Humans had become a puzzle it could not easily solve. Amir led a small group to guide children safely to higher ground. As they climbed, he noticed something remarkable. The aliens were observing human emotions closely. Joy, fear, courage, teamwork, each action left a mark. A scout hesitated near a laughing child, unsure how to react. Amir realized that humans had not only survived, they were teaching the aliens about human strength in ways the aliens could not anticipate. Suddenly, a loud vibration shook the city. A previously stable building collapsed partially, sending debris toward the streets. The aliens acted immediately, lifting fragments and halting them mid-air. But Amir and the humans had anticipated this. They had placed noise devices and mirrors to distract and guide the aliens' movements. The humans moved strategically, guiding the falling debris to safe paths. The aliens followed the unexpected patterns, confused but careful. By afternoon, a new dynamic had formed. The city was no longer just a place of fear, it had become a battlefield of wits, strategy, and courage. Humans had learned to predict, manipulate, and adapt faster than the aliens could fully comprehend. Every small action mattered. Every move taught the aliens something new. And in return, humans learned more about the aliens' behavior, weaknesses, and patterns. The largest alien observed from the central square. Its glowing eyes followed Amir as he moved among the humans, coordinating teams and guiding civilians. The alien tilted its head, processing every detail. It had underestimated humans' intelligence, creativity, and heart. Fear was no longer one-sided. Humans had become a force that could shape, influence, and challenge even the most powerful alien. Night fell. The city glowed under the silver-blue light of the hovering aliens. Humans had organized, survived, and even impressed the invaders with their cleverness. Amir looked at the largest alien, feeling a strange sense of connection. They were opponents, yes, but opponents who respected each other's capabilities. Fear, courage, intelligence, and unity had transformed the relationship. Dr. Lena approached Amir quietly. "Tomorrow will be harder," she said. "They've learned from us, but they will test us further. We need to be ready." Amir nodded, understanding the weight of the coming day. Humans had fought without weapons, without destruction, relying only on creativity, courage, and teamwork. But the aliens were learning. And if the next encounter escalated, it could be a battle unlike any the city had ever faced. Amir stood on a rooftop, watching the glowing figures above. Scouts moved carefully among the streets, the largest alien on the hill, observing, calculating. Humans below were no longer simply survivors, they were strategists, fighters in their own right. The city had become a stage where human courage, ingenuity, and heart were on display for beings far stronger and smarter. And somewhere in the glowing eyes of the largest alien, Amir felt a shift, a subtle recognition, a hint of fear, perhaps respect. Humans had proven that size and strength were not the only forms of power. Tomorrow, the true test would come. The aliens would push further. Humans would need to rise higher. But one thing was clear, humans were no longer the same. They had become a force even the most advanced alien intelligence could not ignore. White Heavy Checkmark Part 5 Highlights. Dawn broke over the city, painting the sky in shades of red and gold. The streets were quiet, but tension hung heavy in the air. Humans moved with purpose, knowing that today would be the ultimate test. 4 days, they had survived, adapted, and fought without weapons. Today, they would prove that courage, intelligence, and heart were the greatest powers of all. Amir stood in the central square, observing the city below. Broken buildings had been repaired with makeshift ingenuity. Teams of humans moved in perfect coordination, guiding civilians, clearing debris, and preparing traps, not to harm, but to outsmart. Children watched from safe perches, their eyes wide with anticipation. Even the smallest human was ready to play a part. Above, the aliens descended with more intent than ever. Scouts moved swiftly through streets, while the largest alien approached the square, towering over everything. Its glowing eyes were focused, scanning, calculating. It had learned from humans before, but now it sought to dominate, to test whether these clever, courageous creatures could truly challenge it. Dr. Lena signaled to Amir. "This is it. We've trained, we've prepared. Remember, we fight not with strength but with intelligence and unity." Amir nodded. He felt a surge of pride, knowing that humans were ready to face a challenge far beyond anything they had imagined. The first clash was immediate. A scout moved toward a group of civilians. It extended its metallic fingers, ready to disrupt, to intimidate. But humans acted instantly. Mirrors reflected sunlight into its sensors, light devices confused its perception, and teams moved in coordinated patterns. The alien recoiled, unsure, while humans continued their movements calmly, confidently. The largest alien stepped forward, its presence shaking the ground. Buildings trembled, and dust swirled around it. Humans froze for a moment, feeling fear, but it was different now. Fear no longer controlled them, it sharpened their focus. They moved with precision, using tricks, distractions, and creative solutions to confuse the alien. Every action was unexpected, every decision unpredictable. Amir led a team to guide children to safety. A small girl tripped, and he caught her just as a piece of debris fell. In that moment, the largest alien paused. Its glowing eyes focused on him. For the first time, it hesitated. Humans were not just clever, they were brave, protective, and selfless. And the alien sensed it. The humans' traps, their clever patterns, forced the alien to retreat slightly. Each step it took was cautious, careful, and uncertain. It had never encountered beings so small, yet so unpredictable, intelligent, and courageous. Humans had turned fear into strategy, chaos into order, and weakness into strength. Suddenly, the alien emitted a high-pitched hum that vibrated through the city. The scouts moved, seemingly coordinating with the largest alien. But humans were ready. Teams moved in synchronized patterns, using sound, light, and movement to confuse, distract, and manipulate. Even the scouts, fast and precise, could not predict the humans' next move. The city had become a battlefield of wits, courage, and resilience. Amir realized something remarkable. Humans did not need weapons to be powerful. They had something stronger: heart. Every life saved, every coordinated move, every act of bravery created ripples that even the aliens could not fully measure. Humans were teaching the invaders what it meant to feel fear, courage, and love, all at once. The largest alien hesitated in the square. Its glowing eyes flickered between blue and white, a sign of confusion and perhaps awe. Amir stepped forward, standing tall. He raised his hands, not to threaten, but to show unity, courage, and defiance. Around him, humans did the same. Families, children, workers, all stood together. Fear had turned into strength, uncertainty into resolve. The alien's hand trembled slightly as it reached toward the humans. But then, instead of attacking, it paused, and slowly, almost imperceptibly, it withdrew. The city held its breath. Amir could feel the energy of the moment, the recognition that humans were no longer prey, but equals in spirit, creativity, and courage. Night fell, but the city was alive with new energy. Humans had survived the ultimate test. They had faced beings far stronger, smarter, and more advanced, and they had prevailed, not through force, but through intelligence, unity, and heart. The aliens hovered silently above, observing, learning, and perhaps understanding something new. Humans were dangerous, not because of their size, but because of their courage and unpredictability. Amir looked around at the city, at the people who had stood together, saved one another, and adapted in ways the aliens could not anticipate. A quiet smile crossed his face. Humanity had discovered its greatest strength: the ability to rise against fear, to fight without weapons, and to turn courage into power. The largest alien finally lifted off, moving toward the horizon, its scouts following. But it did not leave with anger or conquest. Instead, it hovered for a moment, observing the humans below. Amir sensed respect, or perhaps something deeper. The aliens had entered human territory, expecting fear, but they had discovered something unexpected. Humans were not to be underestimated. The city was quiet once more, but it was a different quiet. It was the quiet of victory, of courage proven, of heart displayed. Humans had faced the unknown, had been terrified, and yet had risen. The streets, broken and battered, shone with the strength of a species that refused to bow. Amir stood on a rooftop, watching the stars emerge in the night sky. Somewhere above, the alien lights faded into the distance. He whispered to himself, "We are human. We are small, but we are brave. And no one, not alien, not fear, can take that from us." And with that, the city slept, but its heart remained awake. Humans had faced fear, faced power, and faced the unknown, and they had triumphed.